We're going to continue to create the next P&Id. And for that, we know that first we need to right-click on P&Id drawings and select new drawing. Here I'm going to give the next number 100,004. And this time I'm going to hit OK directly. Perfect. Now we're going to move to model space. And we are going to continue the P&Id, the lines that we had from this P&Id, the 28 and the 27. Here I think I'm missing the annotation, so I'm going to add the annotation here, 31. So I'm going to continue by adding two off-page connectors here, 1 and 2. Going to add a storage tank right here. Going to call it 015, I think. I don't have that number. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. And after, I'm going to select a pressure vessel again. And we call it 013. Good. Now we're going to add lines. You already know how to do this. We're going to select the node, and we're going to click in the vessel. See how the nozzle comes automatically? This is also set through the project setup. Same thing here. Okay, we're just going to add probably the annotation just to have some similarity. Good. So now we are going to connect this to OPC, or off-page connector. As you can see, this one has already populated the service cooling water return, and this is also populated as process. Going to add some information to this connector as well. Type MO properties, and let's call it connector number 700. Destination to TK. I don't remember the other. I'm just going to put it for now XXX, and then I'm going to show you how to actually see it, so we can replace the number. Okay. The first thing that we need to remember is when we connect OPC connectors, one line has to be defined. In this case, this line is defined is the 028. This is actually the cooling system, so it's supposed to go to the tank. If we go to the other P&Id, it's supposed to go to the TK015. And it's important to remember that the other line in the other P&Id should not be defined, because this line, this empty line, is going to acquire the properties of the other line. So to connect, please make sure that this line is not defined. It doesn't have a number. It has diameter specifications, but no line number. So to connect that, first we're going to save this. We're going to click on save, and then we're going to move to this P&Id, and we are going to connect this OPC with the other one. Right click, we're going to select off-page connector and connect. As you can see, a list is going to display with the available lines I have to connect with. In this case, as you can see from the P&ID 003, the line 27 has a connector and is available to connect. I can also have the line 28, which is the line that I want because it's cooling water in return. So I'm going to select this line and I'm going to hit OK. So as you can see, right now I have the service populated, but I still don't have the P&ID number. Usually in this section, we have the PID number that is going to or where it's coming from. To do that, you have to enter to the properties into the drawing. How can you do that? Is by entering with the right click into the drawing and select Team Properties. Here we're going to use the drawing number. We're going to copy this number. Basically, the OPC connector has a property that is going to populate the DWG number. So you're going to see as soon as I put this and I click OK, then the other P&ID is going to show this P&ID number. So I'm going to go to the other P&ID, and as you can see, now I have the P&ID number. Now I need to fill this information. Sorry, switch to the layout, so I'm going to switch it to the model back. So again, this is connector 600. And this is coming from, there is a way that I always use to see where it's coming from. So I try to avoid mistakes and try to remember. Sometimes you have a lot of equipment, so it's very hard to remember all the equipment by heart. Once it's connected, the OPC, you can right click, you can select off page connector and then view connected. So it popped another window. I'm going to bring it here. And as you can see, this line is the line in the 003 P&ID. So this line is coming from the heat exchanger, the E010. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to put properties. I'm going to put from E-010. Very good. We're going to complete this one here. So the same thing for this P&ID. I have to enter the drawing number. Again, I'm going to select properties. I'm going to copy and paste the same number. And if I go back to the 003, then it's connected. As you can see also, there is a symbol that is telling me that this connector is properly connected. The reason why you have here interrogation, the yellow interrogation here, is because sometimes Plant 3D detects some differences in the line, which is supposed to be the same line, sometimes it's not. In this case, this line is 6 inches and the source is 4 inches. So I think if I change this to 4 inches, that sign is going to disappear. Let's see what happens. Going to put a sign tag, and I'm going to switch to 4. CS300. Aha. As you can see as well, there's a different specification. So Plant 3D is detecting that specifications are not matching. So the only thing that you need to remember is when you connect OPCs, the line number is going to match. You are going to connect the line number. But if you put or you insert different specifications in different P&IDs, those are going to be maintained. When I draw these lines in the P&ID 004, I have this activated. So the line that I created was a 6 inches CS300. Now I'm going to change this specification to CS150. And the sign is gone. Then we're going to connect this one. It's going to be a similar process. This is the line 27. Then we're going to do the same. We're going to go to the line that doesn't have any line number. We're going to select the OPC. We're going to hit connect. And as you can see, the only one available is the 027. The other lines, they are already used. So please make sure that you have your lines, like I said before, they shouldn't be named. In this case, this line is completely blank. Doesn't have a line number. It has 6 inches as CS300, but it does not have a line number. If you do have a line number, then you're not going to be able to connect. So please make sure you don't have any line number. Otherwise, it's not going to work in the connection window. Connected. And now we're going to finalize with the data manager to show you how you can enter process information directly. Now we're going to move to the data manager. So I want you to come here to the data manager. The data manager is going to allow you, like I said, to filter your information and to find quickly your elements. If you click in the data manager, you're going to have all the list of the equipment and instruments and basically all the elements in your P&ID. If you contract all the sections, just to give you an idea, you're going to have equipment. We have already all the equipment in the current drawing data. This is the tank. This is all the elements that we inserted already in our CAD file. So the tank 10, the 11, the pumps, all the items are there. And you have also different columns where you have your process information that you have entered. Class name as well. If you enter as well in inline assets, you're going to see your valves. To zoom in, you just need to make sure that this turn zoom is toggle on. So when you actually select any item here, it's going to take you there. Basically, it's going to do a zoom in. Instrumentation, we have the control valves 003, the loop number. So any modification that I wanted to do outside of the data manager, I can do it by using right click and assign tag, or going inside of the properties. But the data manager is a faster way to do any of those modifications. For example, if we wanted to finish this, some of the equipment information, say for example that we receive some dimensions for our pressure vessel and some suppliers or manufacturers for the pumps, all that can be entered directly into the data manager. So I'm just going to expand here just to show you. See, all the equipment is here. And if I hit, for example, if I display the equipment, you're going to find that there is subcategories. So all the properties that they are showing you here are the common properties between these elements. So for example, the vessels, they all have supplier. But for example, the pumps they don't have diameter or dimensions. So if we want to insert, if we want it to be specific and go to the specific section, we can always go to tanks. And here you're going to see that the height and the width are there. So for example, here we can enter 50 feet with, we can enter 20 feet, can enter here. This is basically like an Excel file. So you can even Control C, copy, and Control V, paste. This one I'm going to put, since it's a pressure vessel, I'm going to put 200 PSI G to make it more realistic. Then I'm going to close the window, and now I'm going to insert this annotation. Going to select vessel info tag, and I'm going to place it here. And as you can see, the diameter and the height has been added. Although I don't know why it's coming with atmospheric. Let's click on the data manager again. And yeah, you have to be careful. Sometimes when you make changes, you just need to make sure that they are indeed integrated. We are going to hit enter, and we are going to close. See, now we have 200 PSI. Perfect. We can do the same thing for the pumps. Say, for example, that we have some more information. We can always go to the data manager, and we can go to pumps here, and say, for example, that we have the flow capacity. Let's put 200 GPM. For this one, 200 GPM as well. Let's put all of them 200 GPM. You can copy and paste. the dynamic head P012. But let's just make one different. Feet of water. This one, let's make 100 feet of water. Feet of water. 100 feet of water. Okay, we press enter. We make sure that we added the information. And you can basically, this is entirely customizable by your project administrator. So you, through your project administrator, can add columns if you don't find a property. If you don't find a property that is useful for you here, or you decide to change everything, you can do so. But as you can see, this is very common information in process engineering, or even in piping engineering. We always need a supplier, power, voltage, phase, frequency. So you have pretty much all the information that you need to fill out of the box available for you. We're going to close this window, and we are going to add the info tag for the pumps as well. And also I wanted to show you something interesting. When you say, for example, that we want to add a property that is not, that it doesn't come by default in the type of annotation or in the style of annotation. For example, this heat exchanger, let's add this heat exchanger as well. Changer info tag. Okay, show to. Say, for example, that for this heat exchanger, we want to add something different than the shell, the tube. We want to add something extra. So the only thing we have to do is to come to the data manager, and we're going to look, in this case, the heat exchanger needs to be under equipment, heat exchanger. And say, for example, that we want to add the supplier here. So let's see that it's going to be Acme. When you have this window, sometimes it retracts, so you can always retract it. You can adjust your line toolbar or tool palette, and you can come back to your data manager window. So I'm just going to reduce this. And to add this field here, the only thing that you need to do is to click, and you're going to drag this property to the model space. Again, remember, this is an AutoCAD element, so you can always rotate this. So it's very easy to add properties from the data manager into your CAD file.